Howdy. I feel dumb if I say I'm Henry. Howdy, I'm Henry, and this is my YouTube channel, but you already know that because you're here. So thanks for finding me. Off to a great start. So I guess I'm doing this. I'm here on YouTube for YouTube. So I first decided that I wanted to be on YouTube about a year and a half ago. A little less than a year and a half, but about a year and a half ago. It was an idea that I had kind of had in the back of my mind, and I had done some video content before, talking about comics on a weekly basis, sometimes more than once a week. And it was really fun and it was really rewarding in a lot of ways, but it wasn't very creatively fulfilling because I still had to basically make a video every single week that I was just talking about how great comic books were, and I didn't actually really get to talk about the substance behind the books for more than 30 seconds at a time. And I wanted to try doing something that was more for me. Problem is, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. So at first I thought about making a purely comic book channel, branding myself as a comic book channel. I know what you're saying, Henry, you're already a comic book centric channel, but the difference is I decided ultimately to brand myself as a personal channel so that I could put more of myself into the videos that I'm making, but also so I don't feel like I'm limiting myself. See, when I was going to do a comic book branding, I felt like it would be inappropriate if I talked about a movie or if I talked about a video game or if I talked about something that's just happening in the real world. And since the whole point of doing this video content was to flex my creative muscles and to feel like I had more freedom, I didn't really want to do that. So I decided that I wanted to make it a personal channel instead. I wanted to make it me. And also because a lot of my favorite content creators are people that really pull down all those walls and they allow you to see them for who they are. No matter what, you're going to get a parasocial relationship whenever you're watching somebody on YouTube because you're only seeing what they choose to put out into the world. But there are certain people that have a lot less of that, and I wanted to try to make sure that you saw my face when I was talking, so I'm not just this floating voice. I wanted to feel like I had some personality and some freedom in being myself instead of just writing objectively. So before I got started, I wanted to do a mission statement video, which if you guys have not checked it out, it is kind of funny because I filmed that last November. That video was actually released in June because it took me quite some time to actually get the ball rolling with making my first proper video. Originally, I had planned on doing a video essay on one of my favorite childhood movies, but I didn't know how to script for it at all. So I made like a video and I started putting it together and it was like 45 minutes long and I went, I can't have my first video be 45 minutes long, that's insane. So I got rid of that video and I'll come back to it at some point and remake it and do it with some better fine tuning, but it wasn't vibing for me. So then I decided to do a video about Heroes for Hire, which was a book that I've read a couple times and it's one of my favorite properties that Marvel has to offer. And I thought that it was just enough off the beaten path where I didn't feel like there were other people talking about it. If you notice in my first few videos, I'm talking about things that aren't exactly, I'm not talking Batman here. I'm talking about things that are kind of off to the side. And that's because I wanted to feel like I had more creative freedom and also a little bit more forgiveness in my first few videos, because if I make a video that's talking about like Batman by Scott Snyder, that's my first video, like totally I have thoughts and opinions, but I haven't built up the familiarity with the medium to be able to execute that strongly, and a lot of people are going to look at that video theoretically because it is a Batman video and it's because it's something popular, and I'm not ready for that. Not ready for that feedback. Being on YouTube is scary enough, you know? Putting myself out there is scary enough. So I wanted to stay off the track. So I did the Heroes for Hire video, and if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. It is my first video and it is a little rough. I learned a lot while making that video because it was my first proper one. I scripted the entire thing. I shot it over the course of multiple days. The lighting is a complete mess. I tried to edit it on my phone, which means that I made mistakes because the program I was using, I didn't know how to use it very well yet. So there are just silly little editing mistakes, but I'm still really happy with it. And I was really happy because I had put a video out into the world. That was the first video. Then video 2, Brave and the Bold. And that was a completely different creative process for me because whereas the first video was really just me trying this out for the first time, the second video was me taking some notes from that, trying to cut back so I don't just make a 3-hour video, which I very easily could because I just do way too much contextual reading. So instead, I wanted to do a critical video where I could talk about something and find the artistry in it, but also talk about what parts of it don't work for me on a personal level. It's very difficult for me to do because I'm a very enthusiastic person, but also because my job for years was to only talk about the good things. That was my job, that was my life, was to talk about the good things in comics and don't talk about the bad things. And I spent so long doing that I didn't have a great frame of reference for how to do that, even though I've spent years in college talking about media academically and doing media criticism and doing literary criticism. I didn't really know how to change the gear. It took me a while to get it. So The Brave and the Bold was me doing that for the first time, was trying to do a critical look at something that doesn't just completely dismiss it, because I don't think that's fair. And I also don't think that there is enough media criticism with nuance. I think a lot of it's really media criticism is just some guy yelling about something and not really saying anything about why. So that was the creative hurdle for The Brave and the Bold. But it was really fun to make, and I did really like it. I do like where that video ended up. It just took a long time to get there. But then I did my third video. Hawkeye and Mockingbird. And that is also probably my favorite of the books. Like, I loved that book when it first came out. I was obsessed with it, and it's actually like an important book to me as a fan, because it was the first time that I realized that the stuff going on behind the scenes could completely change what happened with the book. It came out when I was like going into college, and I remember going to the comic book store and hearing the guy at the shop complain about how that book didn't sell, specifically how Hawkeye and Mockingbird didn't sell. And I remember going, but I really like that book. Doesn't matter, nobody's buying it. Oh. So it changed a lot for me. And I really liked that video. I had a different creative process while writing that video. I was taking more notes while I was reading the books going into it. And I think that led me to a better execution of my thesis and a greater conclusion overall. So I'm really happy with it. I still have issues with it. I wish it was a little bit shorter. I lost some of the footage while I was making it. I also learned do not release videos on holidays because nobody will watch them. So you learn something every single time about what you should or should not do. But ultimately, I was really happy with where that video took me, and it is something really cool. So that leads me to here, and now I'm 6 months into this YouTube experience, roughly. And I've written videos, I have ideas for so many videos, and I'm already working on the next video, which should be coming out in 2 weeks, and is going to be a different type of video. So for the first few, I did a video essay, and they're all roughly the same format, but for this new one, it'll be a new thing, a shorter thing. It'll be talking about one specific issue of one specific comic and how that issue reflects the entire run of that series. And I'm very excited to do that because it's going to be a new creative endeavor for me, and it's going to be exploring things that I haven't really done yet. And so I'm looking forward to trying out new types of videos while coming back to the main video essay. I think that the video essay is going to be like the bread and butter of this channel moving forward. I'm always going to be making them, but they do take a long time. And I'm going to try doing smaller videos in between so I can play around with different ideas. And I'm looking forward to doing that so I can talk about a book a little bit, and maybe if people like that, I get feedback, and then I know that it's worth me making a half-hour video essay about it. So that's been kind of where my head's at. Overall, it has been really fun, and it's been really rewarding. It's also been really terrifying. There's nothing more surreal than staring at your own face for like hours and hours and hours as you edit together the footage. It's weird. It's real weird. But I've really enjoyed it overall. And I also would not be here without the support of my family and friends. And I can't thank every single person because I have had a lot of people reach out to me. And it means a lot to me that a lot of these people have. But I wanted to give a special shout out to a few people real quick. So thank you to Ted and Jesse and Fabian, who actually drew my icon, and Dennis, who helped me out with a lot of my video equipment and has given me countless feedback on editing. And also thank you to Luke, who always reminded me to build my own brand and reassured me that I was fantastic in what I could do and how I could talk about comics. I think it planted the seed for a lot of this in my head, and it also helped change my perspective and realize that I had value outside of what I could contribute to a company or corporation or something else, that I could do it myself. And that sounds silly and Disney and kitschy, but it made an impact. So thank you, Luke. And beyond all that, I wanted to say thank you to my fiance, Haley, who has helped me with literally every single video. She has watched countless drafts of the videos. She has helped me revise my scripts and fine-tune where I need to, and she offers a really valuable perspective, which has made my life infinitely easier and the quality of the video infinitely better. So thank you, honey. It means the world to me, and I love you. So that's it. That is what has been going on in my head. I cannot, for the life of me, talk about what's going on in the real world because that is terrifying. So thank you so much for checking out this video, and hopefully you guys have checked out my videos that I've made so far. If not, please, I would greatly appreciate it, and I hope that you guys enjoy what you find. And if you do happen to enjoy anything that I'm saying, or enjoy me, or you just like seeing my pretty little face, you can follow me across social media at awhiteCuban. I greatly appreciate it, and I love seeing the comments that you guys leave behind. It actually is something that like is a true highlight and makes the video making process 100% worth it. Like if I make this video and I put 40 hours into the video and then I see a comment that's telling me that it was wonderful, it makes a world of difference. Nobody has to say nice things to you, so it really means a lot when people do. And you know, until I have 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to be probably replying to just about every single comment. So please have a conversation with me and stick around. We've got some more great stuff coming to you very soon.